Hey, and welcome to Wild Seat. Get this through your head. In prehistoric times and stuff, there was a bunch of super powerful guys called Celestials. These guys created the sun, planets, and weird critters. Everything was chill, until one fine day some baddies from another planet called Deviants showed up. Imagine these beasts like Godzilla, but a malevolent version from space. To stop these jerks, the boss of the Celestials, Annihilation, sent his group of heroes, the Eternals, to Earth. Imagine, bro, you're in the year 5000 BC, having a barbecue with the guys by the river, when suddenly these beasts come out of the water and start wreaking havoc. But just at the climax, the Eternals show up with their superpowers and hit hard. The fast chick, Makari, gets people out of there in a hurry. Ikari's flying and shooting rays from his eyes, and others using their special gadgets. In the end, the Deviants got what they deserved, thanks to this band of superheroes. The humans, who were more scared than a dog on a fireworks day, tried to attack the Eternals. But Druig, another Eternal, calmed them down with his mental powers. Then Circe, who is another Eternal, transformed an old knife into a super cool metal, like saying, "Hey, we're here to help you." Now jump to the present time, in London. Circe is at university with her boyfriend, Dane. Suddenly, an earthquake interrupts the class, but Circe, like a good superhero, does her thing to protect her students. Then, in a nearby river, a deviant, one of those malevolent monsters, comes out of the water, and a dog is the only witness. Circe and Dane celebrate their birthday with friends, and Sprite, another Eternal, shows up. She uses her powers to look older, but her illusion breaks as soon as someone touches her. Dane proposes to Circe that they live together, but she rejects him. There, Dane realizes that something strange is going on, especially because of Sprite's comments. After the party, when they are on their way home, a gigantic deviant called Crow appears. Circe uses her powers to trap him in the ground, but the beast breaks free and escapes to the city. Sprite and Circe act like they duplicate themselves, but Crow, the deviant, realizes it and discovers them. When Crow is about to finish off Sprite, Icaris, our hero, arrives and goes into battle with the bad guy. During the fight, a bus flips over, but Circe turns it into rose petals. Can you believe it? And although it seems unbelievable, Crow heals himself. Icaris beats him up, but Crow manages to escape. After all that hassle, Circe tells Dane that she is an Eternal. Dane, like any guy, asks her why they never did anything about human tragedies. Circe explains to him that they couldn't get involved in human affairs, but only observe and wait. She also tells Dane that she and Icaris were a couple, but it didn't work out. After this, Circe, Sprite, and Icaris have a meeting in their apartment. They talk about the earthquake and the deviant, and they decide that they need to gather the Eternals again. This makes them remember when they lived in Babylon in 575 BC, helping humanity to develop. They always fought together against the Deviants. They didn't last long against them. After a fight, Ajak connects with Arishem, the boss of the Celestials. Ajak is worried about what could happen to humans, but Arishem tells her to stick to the plan and not to get attached to them. Back to the present, Circe, Sprite, and Icaris arrive in South Dakota, where Ajak had her ranch. There they find Ajak dead, bro. Then Sprite starts crying and uses one of her illusions to remember Ajak. They realize that Crow must have absorbed Ajak's powers, that's why he could heal. And when Circe approaches Ajak's body, a stone comes out and attaches to her. Arishem appears to her saying, "It's almost time," and then he leaves. Sprite says that Ajak chose Circe to succeed her, but Icaris thinks it could be the Mahad Wairi. And then, the memories come flooding back again. In 1521, in Tenochtitlan, they were fighting against the last Deviants, when Thena gets sick and starts attacking her companions. Ajak lets herself be hurt to get close and use her powers on Thena, but she still attacks her. Gilgamesh intervenes and fights with Thena until she falls unconscious. When Thena wakes up, she doesn't remember anything. That's when they realize that she has Mahad Wairi, a disease that makes her old memories drive her mad. Ajak proposes to erase Thena's memory, but the others don't want to. Druig gets angry with Ajak and goes to live his life. Gilgamesh says he will take care of Thena, and Ajak lets everyone go live among humans, since there are no more deviants. Back to the present, Circe, Sprite, and Icaris go to Mumbai to look for Kingo, who is now a Bollywood star. His assistant Karun knows his secret and has worked with him for years. They tell Kingo everything that is going on, but he says he likes his life and doesn't want to go. Karun, the dude, convinces our buddy Kingo to put on his tights and play the hero. He even decides to make a documentary of the whole show, and they fly together to Australia on the famous guy's private jet. There, little Sprite kicks up a fuss at Kingo for ditching her for a bit of fame. But Kingo, that smart guy, tells her that he became an actor thanks to the stories she used to tell him. Boom! Right in the kisser. In Australia, our friends follow the trail of deviant corpses until they find Thena and Gilgamesh in their country cottage. Our friend Gilgamesh has become quite the cook and handyman, while Thena spends her time making eerie drawings. As soon as they see the team appear, Thena goes crazy and throws an apocalyptic threat at them. But cool as a cucumber, Gilgamesh calms her down, and Sprite clears her mind with one of her illusions. Our girl Circe takes a look at Thena's drawings and feels bad because she can't connect with that Arishem. But Gilgamesh, always the optimist, reminds her that she needs to learn to listen. Circe sits down to relax, and suddenly, bam! The stone activates and she finds herself face to face with Arishem. And he drops the bomb. They're here to help birth a celestial, Tiamat. What a plan. Turns out the Eternals have been in this business on other planets before Earth. Arishem tells them that the Celestials are born from intelligent life, which the Deviants had been sabotaging. But now that the Eternals have cleared the path, Arishem announces that it's time to exterminate all living beings on Earth to make way for Tiamat. Circe is shocked, but Arishem tells her that it's just the way they live. He also reveals that Olympia never existed, and that the Eternals are merely dolls created in the World Forge for the Celestials. Circe doesn't remember any of this because the Eternals have their memories erased after each emergence. On top of that, Arishem created the Deviants to balance the predator-prey ratio, but things got out of control, and the Deviants turned into predators. So, he decided that the Eternals shouldn't evolve like them. After the shock, Circe informs the team about what she has discovered. They realize that Thena's illness is actually her old memories resurfacing. They are not thrilled to learn that they are artificial, but they decide to try and save humanity. They start thinking that they should find Druig to see if he can use his power to control Tiamat's mind. What a mess, buddy. After all that commotion, our friends head to the Amazon rainforest. There, they meet Druig, who has set up a small commune of peace and love. But the guy is pissed off because he has found out that his life is a lie. As the night falls, Kingo does something nice for Sprite. The girl has a crush on Icaris but can't do anything about it because she looks like a child. Sprite is excited until she realizes that Karun is recording everything and she smashes the camera. In the meantime, Circe gives Dane a call to see how he's doing, and Icaris turns green with jealousy. Circe gets tired and demands an explanation from Icaris about why he left her hanging. But what a coincidence. Just when Icaris is about to speak up, this guy Crow shows up and carries him away. Other deviants attack the village, and the Eternals spring into action. Circe momentarily becomes an architect and fortifies a building to protect the gang. Then hurls a bunch of trees at the deviants. Druig decides that humans can be a good army, but Circe sets things straight and sends them to a safe place. Kingo takes a moment to charge his beam and obliterates a deviant's head. Icaris engages in a fight with Crow, who beats him up and steals his powers. But our buddy Gilgamesh stands his ground and confronts him. In the midst of the battle, Thena loses control again and goes after Icaris. Gilgamesh leaves everything behind to calm her down, and he succeeds. Icaris chases a flying deviant and shoots it down in the village, where he takes out several of them with his lasers. But one surprises him, and Circe comes to the rescue. And guess what? She pulls off a transformation out of nowhere that she had never done before and turns the deviant into a tree. Gilgamesh continues his fight with Crow, but he's more focused on Thena than the battle, and Crow takes advantage of that, killing him and absorbing his powers. Crow changes shape, becomes more human, and learns English, the clever guy. He accuses the Eternals of being killers, but when Icaris stands up to fight, he runs away. Thena rushes to Gilgamesh, who dies in her arms after telling her to always remember him. Later they burn Gilgamesh's body, and Thena scatters his ashes into the river. Druig, realizing that controlling everything is not right, joins the mission. But his power is not enough to control a celestial, so they'll have to find Phastos. The following memory takes us back to 1945, Hiroshima, just after the atomic bomb. Phastos is there, crying inconsolably while Ajak tries to comfort him. The guy is devastated because he feels like he has helped humans advance in technology, and all they have done is kill each other. That's when he decides to give up on humanity. In the present, the Eternals stroll through Chicago and find out that Phastos lives in the suburbs with his husband and son. After the team tells him about the situation, Phastos says that his husband has restored his faith in humanity, but he's not keen on leaving his family to embark on a dangerous mission. However, his husband insists that he must move forward if it means there will be a future for them and their son. The next destination is Iraq, where they use their powers to free the dome from its underground hiding place. Makari has been living there all this time, only occasionally going out for supplies. Phastos has an idea. What if they combine their powers through the Unimind? That way they could transfer their powers to Druig, and he could mentally control Tiamat. Kingo doesn't see it very clearly, and along with Sprite, they say they would prefer to follow Ikaris, who also doesn't seem to have it all figured out. But Ikaris tells Kingo that he is not who he thinks he is, and retreats to his own world of memories. 6 days ago, Ajak went to see Ikaris to tell him that the emergence is imminent, and this is where it is revealed that Ikaris has always known the truth. Ajak, after spending so much time among humans, believes they shouldn't carry out the mission, that humans and Earth deserve something better. Ikaris takes Ajak to Alaska and shows her a frozen lake filled with deviants that had been frozen for centuries, but are coming back to life because the glacier is melting due to the Earth's core warming up. Ikaris tells her that he remains loyal to Arishem and pushes Ajak into the lake, where Crow captures her and steals her powers. Then, Ikaris takes Ajak to the farm, leaving her body there for Cersei to find, and in a moment of pain, he unleashes beams of energy that start a fire. Back in the present, Ikaris confesses to Cersei that he still loves her, and Cersei takes his hand, although she doesn't reciprocate the feeling. Phastos felt something similar, but it was the stone he carried in his backpack coming to life. Something big was coming, and Makari, who's faster than gossip in the neighborhood, sets off to circle the world to find out where it's coming from. It turned out to be an active volcano in the Indian Ocean. Ikaris, the tough guy of the group, puts on his superhero armor and starts saying that he doesn't want Cersei as the leader. And to top it off, the guy drops the bomb. He was the one who took Ajak out. The team was left with a "seriously, dude" expression, and when Makari came back with the scoop, Ikaris pounces on her like a startled cat. But there was Kingo, the loyal friend, to protect her. But Kingo had had enough of Ikaris and was ready for a fight when suddenly, Sprite, the youngest of the group, says she's on Ikaris' side and creates an illusion so they can escape. Then, Kingo decides to leave with Karun because he thought it wasn't worth saving Earth. Aha! He said that the Celestials that are born are like seeds for new planets. They end up with a smaller team than in a futsal match and have to improvise a new plan. And there's Druig, pointing out that Cersei turned a deviant into a tree. But Cersei is not fully confident. She doesn't understand why Ajak chose her. Thena, the wise one, tells her that a leader protects her own, and Ajak knew that Cersei had a special affection for humans from day one. So, Cersei decides to face the challenge and allows Phastos to extract the special stone to give a spark to the Unimind. The Eternals go to the volcano, and Ikaris asks Sprite to guard the emergence while he barges into the ship like a bull in a china shop. Thena starts fighting against him to keep him occupied and give the others time to activate the Unimind, which extinguishes the volcano. But Ikaris doesn't stay still and attacks Druig, then sabotages the ship to make it crash. Makari, who was already sparking with anger, charges at Ikaris with the volcano roaring behind her. Cersei runs toward the volcano to see if she can do something, while Thena and Gilgamesh join Makari in the battle against Ikaris. But the guy is tougher than an unripe avocado, and they can't stop him, even when working together. So, Crow arrives like someone who's late to the party and goes straight for Ikaris. But of course, nobody wants him to become stronger, so they decided to tackle him first before he could cause any trouble. Makari wrapped him up in a whirlwind of earth, and Thena gave him a good beating and sent him flying into a cave. Taking advantage of the situation, Icarus goes after Cersei, but Phastos sets up one of his clever traps and has him pinned to the ground like a leashed dog. In the cave, Crow tries to trick Thena by pretending to be Gilgamesh, but he makes a mistake. He says, "Remember," and Thena wakes up and leaves him lying on the ground. At the top of the volcano, Cersei encounters Ajak, but it turns out it was just Sprite causing mischief out of jealousy. She was about to accelerate the emergence when Druig arrives and puts her to sleep. And suddenly the volcano gets angry, and out comes Tiamat. Cersei stands in its path to stop it, but then Icarus breaks free from the trap and goes after her. But when he sees Cersei, all the memories come flooding back, and he can't bring himself to harm her. So Cersei activates the Unimind and amplifies her powers to turn Tiamat into a statue of rock. Icarus realizes the blunder he made, apologizes while crying, and flies off into space, where he gets lost in the sun, just like the legend of his name suggests. Sprite is left feeling sad, but Cersei decides to help her and takes away her immortality so she can live as a normal human. Once all the chaos is over, the Eternals go their separate ways. Thena goes with Makari and Druig to the Dome to search for more Eternals. Phastos returns to his family, Sprite goes to a boarding school, and Kingo goes back to making movies. Cersei meets Dane, who accepts her just as she is. But then, Arishem appears in the sky and summons Cersei, Kingo, and Phastos. He tells them he knows they betrayed him and decides to take them to stand trial. But the adventure doesn't end here. I'll see you in the next one. Let's go.